Without further ado, it's time for Sawyer Social Hour. So sit back, relax, and get ready, or at this point, continue to get ready to go online if you haven't already. For those of you who have not met me, hello, I am Dana Brown. I'm joining us from the aquarium inside of my apartment today, which is just one of the fun Zoom backgrounds. We're going to talk through and share some resources where you can use free ones provided by Canva. It's a really, really great way to make it fun and exciting and creative like we talked about last time. For those of you who don't know, Ariana is going to be manning our chat as well. She's amazing. Feel free throughout the webinar if you have questions, chat there. We're also going to open it up for our second half of today to really go through and answer specific types of questions that each of you may have that you want answered, whether by myself or Dylan, who is going to be joining us as well. Dylan, who I have here, is our senior account manager and product liaison. He's going to be taking you through some of the recent features that we've fine-tuned and really made available for our providers during this time, specifically as you bring your programs online, but also just some of the ways that you can push through announcements and really deliver a delightful experience for parents. One thing that you guys probably noticed when you signed up for this webinar, you got to see our new online feature in action. You probably got an email reminder 30 minutes prior that had your join link. I was able to join the program right away just through Sawyer Tools. So this is really bringing the tools features to life with these webinars. So exactly how I set it up is exactly how you'll be able to for your business as well. So Dylan's going to talk through how we do that together on the call. Some agenda topics that we're going to go through. We're going to talk through our new widget announcement banner. We're going to talk through the full feature of the new online classes set up from start to finish so you can see what that looks like. And then sort of this parties hack idea, which I've gotten a few questions from people. Right now, while we don't support appointments or like one-to-one private lessons, we do have this really great private event feature that you can use to schedule lesson requests. So that way it's another way for parents to schedule one-on-one instruction with your instructors, give your families another touch point to be able to work with you and schedule sort of these one-off types of events if you're thinking through that as well. I'm going to go through using some polls and questions on today's webinar so you get to see how that works here on Zoom, but also I'll talk through how it works on Facebook Live and Instagram Live. I've seen a couple people use it really well and create engagement, which I think is fantastic. And then we're going to go through the Q&A time. So without further ado, I'm going to give it over to Dylan. I'm going to stop my screen share here. And Dylan, are you there? Great. Okay, so Dylan, I'm going to unmute you and make you the presenter. There you go.
That's very cool. I was going to unmute myself and I couldn't do it. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Just want to make sure I'm coming through.
We got it.
Okay, great. Cool. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this quick because I want to give as much time for questions as possible. Quick intro. Obviously, Dana already introduced me, but in case you're just tuning in, I'm Dylan. I'm an account manager here at Sawyer. There are a few of us on the account team. Tools Talk is something that we've been doing internally for a while, where we just kind of like get together and talk about new features and how Sawyer Tools works. So I'm very happy to open it up to all of you. Just going to go through three quick things. And Dana, if you don't mind screen sharing your Sawyer Tools account, and I can just talk you through what I want to show off.
Cool.
So once you share your screen,
can everyone
you go to Sawyer Tools. Yes. You can see it. Perfect. Okay. So three quick things I want to show off. Actually, the first one is very, very quick, and it's a new widget announcement banner. So first, let me just show you what that looks like. And yeah, that's great that you're on the widget. So it's this new banner that you can see across the top, this announcement banner, right? And what this does is whatever page someone is on your widget, whether it's just they're looking at your list of classes, or if they click learn more or more info, and they go to a register page, the banner stays there across the top. So let me show you how to set this up in Sawyer Tools. Dana, if you go back to Sawyer Tools and then click the drop down at the top right of the screen, and then go to business account, and scroll down, you will see, sorry, I'm having to move everyone around so I can see, display company announcement. So that is checked off, so that's why you could see it. And yeah, exactly. And then you can just put whatever text you want here. And then you can use like basic like keyboard shortcuts like italics or underline to sort of like spice it up a little bit. And then if you scroll down, you can also add a link. So that makes the entire thing clickable for whatever range of dates you set. So this one is currently set to go for a couple more weeks. And anyone that sees your widget during that time is going to see that. And then just if you scroll to the way bottom, you can click save, and then that will be updated. Cool. So that's like for right now, that could be really useful as a way to show like, you know, to let people know, okay, we're just doing online classes or whatever it is. Then if you click the link, it'll bring you to the page. Okay, cool. And we can, look, with everything I'm talking through now, we can return to this with questions at the end. So jot them down if you have them. Let me move on now to online class activity setup. This one is not going to be as quick. Many of you already know some of this, but we're continuing to try to improve it as we go. So stick with me here just to be safe in case there's anything that you don't know about yet, or you just need a refresher, or if this is brand new altogether. So the first thing you're going to do, always the first thing you want to do in Sawyer Tools when you're setting up an activity, is go to listings and set up the activity. So for this example, let's use Cauldron Cooking 101 because this one's already here. So you can just click on the name. Yeah, thanks, Dana. And you can see that the first thing you want to do is to say that this is an online activity. So we've broken this check circle out here. So if this is going to be a virtual class, like something like what we're doing now, you want to say that here. And let me just highlight another quick new feature while we're here. You can also, Dana, if you scroll down in here, you can see that in these new activity fields, you can actually use basic HTML. So if you scroll back up to the description, Dana, you can see there's this link here. There's the little basic HTML for a paragraph, and if you scroll to the bottom, little basic HTML for a link. If you don't know how to do basic HTML, that's cool. It's very Googleable, and we have a Help Center article on it as well. And then if you click Save and Continue here, there's going to be the next page. We'll also have a few additional fields for parents, and now HTML works in these as well. So I'll show you what this looks like in a little bit too. In the meantime, the next thing I want to show you is always the next thing you do before you schedule an activity is make sure you have a location at which to schedule it. So Dana, if you want to go back to listings and then locations, cool. So it looks like we already have an online location. So, but let me just kind of show you how to make a brand new one. So if you go back to locations, let's just, yeah, perfect. So click new location, and the difference between making a virtual location and a real one is there's no address, right? So just skip this. Don't write anything in there and just click next. And by skipping this, it's going to remove the map from the register page. So you definitely want to give your virtual location a name. And the only other thing that you definitely want to make sure that you do once you give it a name, great example, Dana, thank you. Want to make it really clear that it's an online location, is to scroll down and make sure that the time zone is correct, because that's when the start time is going to happen and how it's going to be displayed. Okay, so as per usual, now that you have your activity and your location set up under listings, you can now go to schedules and you can schedule these things. Cool. Okay. So I happen to know that there's already a cauldron cooking, I think, somewhere here, which I can sort of just show you how this works. There it is. So we can just skip ahead here to edit this one. Essentially, scheduling an activity works the same way it always does, but the difference is that because we clicked that online activity check circle back in listings, as soon as we have this big caps online thing there next to our scheduled activity, next to our activity title, when we schedule it here, we get these two brand new fields. class link and access instructions. So this is specifically for online classes, right? So this is the link that we're going to add to join the classroom, right? And it needs to be a full link, like including HTTP. And then access instructions is something like, you know, if you have a password, or if there's something else that you want people to know right before they join the class, this is a great place to put it. Because the purpose of these two fields is that they're going to go out in a reminder email 30 minutes before the start time of the class. Or let's say someone signs up 10 minutes before the start time of the class, they'll get in as well. Less of a reminder, but I think the subject line of the email says like starting soon. So that way it's right at the top of everyone's inbox, right when they need it. If you need to make adjustments to these two fields, let's say, you know, you're using one specific link for one specific meeting, and then that changes down the road, that's cool. You change the link, whatever this field says at the time that the email is getting ready to be sent out 30 minutes beforehand, it's going to send that link out. And then this link can be seen in a couple different places. Okay, cool. Let me show you one place that it can be seen. Dana, if you want to go back to menu and then go back to upcoming. The first place that I will show you, actually, I think this is the only one I'm going to show you, and I'll explain the next two. Yes, perfect. You click on that, you can see here, right at the top of the roster, that way you're an instructor can see it, there's the class notes and join activity button. And that join activity button is going to bring you directly to whether it's a Zoom link or whatever it is. And that's the same button that's going to be in the reminder email for parents. And it'll also be in the parent portal. So anyone who goes to your widget and logs in from the dropdown or logs into their parent portal through our marketplace, when they look at their calendar, they'll have that link there too, along with the access instructions. Okay, cool. Again, jot down questions as we're going through this so we can return to it at the end. Okay, let me just real quick walk here in another way that I've seen a lot of providers do this. If you want to have like a little more like manual control over link sending, when it goes out, who it goes to, what the link is, you can always, Dana, if you want to run back, just run back to a roster via upcoming. There's always the message roster button. So just on any roster, there's towards the top right. Oh. Dana, if you go to, sorry, I should have done a better job of guiding you here.
I'm here.
Yeah, there you go, exactly.
I think you have a little bit of a delay.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Got it, okay, very believable. So when you click this message roster button, you can see everyone who's in the class list, no one in this example, everyone's email will be listed there on the right, and you can send an email. So if you have like if you want to send a specific link out to the class and it's something that you want to do like more on a manual basis, you can do that as well. You have the flexibility to do that. Okay, cool. Let me jump to this other third thing now, which is sort of more of like a creative workaround than a real new feature. The idea is to use our parties feature as sort of a private lesson request workaround. So let me just show you kind of what that looks like first, Dana, if you want to go to live view, and then I'll talk through the setup. Perfect. Okay, so you can see here that the widget, instead of there's a parties tab, it now says private events. So that's something that we can adjust on our end. I love this picture.
Oh, you would like that.
What I've done. Thanks for setting that up. So this is a party package technically, but we've called it private lesson virtual. And what it lets customers do is if you click learn more, they can submit an inquiry, submit a request to have a private lesson you see on the right whenever they want, right? And they can, so what's nice is they can ask for anything, right? They can tell you when they want to do it, how long they want to do it. And then I actually already submitted one. So if you want to jump back to Sawyer Tools, we can look at an example. So if you go to the party section in Sawyer Tools, because remember, this is like a little bit of a workaround here. There you go. You'll see a request in the request tab. Oh, we're looking at a different form. That's all good. So you will get an email notifying you of the request, as will the person who puts in the request. You then will see in your request column under parties exactly what the parent has asked for, right? And then what you can do is you get on the phone or shoot them an email and just kind of confirm all the details and figure out, do you want this to be a one-off thing? Should you make this just a regularly scheduled activity? And Dana, thanks for running through that to get back here to the example. So this is what the request will look like. This is technically a party request, but from the customer standpoint, that's, they don't need to think of it as a party. So what's nice is you can see how it fits into the rest of your schedule. You can make any adjustments you need to about time, price, head count, whatever. And then there are two things you could do. Either you could, if this is like a one-off thing, you just want to do one virtual lesson, great. You can scroll to the bottom. You can send them either a deposit request or a request full payment. They can go and pay it, and then it'll move to booked. And then you can get in touch with them and send them a virtual link and organize it from there. The other thing you could do is once you get this request, let's say you hop on the phone, this is usually the best thing to do. And you say, okay, you know what? I actually want this to be like a recurring private lesson every Monday. Then you would just schedule a recurring weekly activity using semesters, just like you would normally do. And if you want to go to semesters, Dana, just so we have like a visual to make the connection here. Thank you. You could just use semesters to make a regular weekly scheduled activity, and then just hide it and then send that particular customer a direct link to register using, if you click on the red scheduled activity title itself, you can use the get customer link exactly. Or if you just want to like register them, you can do enroll student just above get customer link or via the upcoming menu. So in other words, once you get that request in, that party request or that private event or private lesson request, get in touch with the customer, figure it out on an individual level, and then either enroll the customer or send them a direct link so they can enroll themselves. I think that's about it. Dana, is there anything that you wanted me to hit that I didn't quite get a chance to go over?
No, I think that's good. I know that Elsa, somebody had their hand raised, so I want to make sure. Elsa, let me find you. I found you. So Elsa, I'm going to unmute you. And if you want to ask a question, if there was something else, and then I know a couple other people raised their hands, so go ahead, shoot.
So Elsa's next to me. My name is Jeff.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, I love Hi Sawyer. I think a couple of people are already asking, just wanted to clarify the behavior of the confirmation email in the field where you and the note to parents. So there's one that's immediate goes out, says you've signed up for something. And then there's something else that goes out. It sounds like 30 minutes before the class. So we don't have
great question.
All automatic. If you could run through that again, that would be helpful.
Sure. Go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah. Sure. Thanks. It's a great question. Thanks for slowing us down on that one. So what always happens, whether you're signing up for an online activity or not, there's always a confirmation email that goes out to the parent as soon as they sign up. It's like a receipt, right? They get the email right away. That hasn't changed. So that's exactly the same. And that contains all the regular information. Now, if you're signed up for an online activity in particular, you also get separately, in addition to that, a 30-minute reminder email, so that email then is at the top of your inbox with the join link or access info when you need it, right? So this doesn't replace the confirmation email, but what you rightly pointed out is that there is a notes for confirmation email piece of the activity setup, right? Where you can customize that automatic email that goes out. That's always true. That's true for online classes as well as classes that are not online classes. That's always been the case. The update that we made recently there, and I probably should have slowed down and made this more clear, is that now you can use this basic HTML to customize what this says. There's another similar and connected feature here, which is that, so this is being set up at the level of the activity, right? So anyone who registers for this activity gets any notes for the order confirmation email. Anyone who signs up for this activity gets an email with these notes. There's also a way to set it up so that to do notes for all of your confirmation emails, so that no matter what activity someone signs up for, they get those notes as well. If there's something that doesn't matter.
I'm going to show where that is just so that everyone can see. So here under settings, you're going to go here and you'll see you can set, this is where you put your business tax ID and your order confirmation notes here. When you want to add a message to every single one of your order confirmation notes, you're going to do it here. And so that means that no matter what they sign up for, they're going to get this in their order confirmation. Make sense? Cool. Great question. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. It's tricky to bounce back and forth. All right, so I know somebody else. Mel, you have your hand raised. So let me find you and I will unmute you as well. Okay, Mel. This is fun. This is like a kind of a search here. All right. Mel, where are you? Aha, found you. I'm unmuting you.
Thanks. Hi, thanks. I just had a question. I think it wasn't directly related to this, but the process that you just went through for showing us the widget. Sorry, not the widget. What you did after that, there was a process that Dylan kind of went through kind of quickly, and I just wanted to see if you could slow down and
Sure. Was the widget banner?
Show the screen so that we can see.
Oh, sure. Yep. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I'm just bouncing back and forth here. Okay. So it was on the widget, you said. So was it this announcement banner?
It wasn't the announcement banner. It was something after that. You were showing us, I think it was directly
this
private. It was the private event stuff. So just to clarify, if we wanted to offer basically for private lesson and / the party option, he said this was a workaround to go through for parents to go through the private events, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly.
Well, is that something that they would automatically know that would be a workaround? Is that something we direct them to do? How would they know that private lessons could be offered that way? Great
question. Okay, so what you're looking at, every time I say widget, what I'm referring to is your registration interface, right? So everything that's on the screen right now, this is what I refer to as the widget. So if you scroll up to the top of the widget here, you can see the different tabs. This one says private events, right? Yeah, exactly. So this is exactly what a parent sees, right? So, and if you scroll down a little bit again, you can see that the name of the package is private lesson.
Okay, I see.
So there's nothing here to indicate to a customer that this is the parties feature, right? So as far as the customer is concerned, this is their experience. That said, you may want to do some organization on your site in order to funnel people here so that they encounter it when they're expecting to. For example, one thing that we can do is if you have a navigation menu on your site, maybe you want in the navigation menu to say, request a private lesson. And then maybe on that page, you just have a widget that defaults to this view.
Mm-hmm. And then, okay, that makes sense. And then the piece that you were saying, actually related to the private event piece setup, going down, you went through it kind of quickly. Can you do a quick recap of how that would be set up and then also how it's connected to semester, or if it's connected to semester?
Yeah, I think so.
Great question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to take this one just to go through because I know I lost connection during this time. We're also going to include step-by-step instructions as a follow-up. So don't worry if we don't capture it all, but I'll go back. So in order to set up parties, you're going to go here to products. You're going to go here to parties. And here you can see we already have one set up. So I'm just going to edit this to show you. So here, when you're selecting the package type, it's going to give you some options. You're going to want to choose private event. You can also choose party or field trip, whatever kind of makes sense. Here, you can put whatever you want your package name to be called. You can put whatever photo you want here. And you're just going to go through and fill out these fields, right? And it's very clear, just like everything in Sawyer. We try to build it so that it's really intuitive. You're going to set up your description, how many people, but people can also request more. What is your standard duration? And the reason why we're suggesting this is if you don't know what the appetite is for your parents, or you kind of want to manage like the scheduling piece of it internally, this is a way that Dylan mentioned. Once a parent requests using like their widget tab, you can go ahead now and contact this parent. And then if you want to set up an event just like you normally do in Sawyer Tools, you don't have to keep this like a scheduled party. This is great where you can collect the money for a specific day and time, just like you would a birthday party. But to his point, he was saying you can also get it set up like a regular class here under schedules as well. So this is just a way to gauge interest and have parents be able to request a date and time. And then you can set it up like a normal schedule. You don't have to. You can just go ahead and do it this way and then just push out a reminder to them with a Zoom link as well. So there's tons of flexible options. This is just kind of one way of looking at it. Does that make sense?
And it does make sense. Thank you for that. And so finally, does that, when you do and set up parties in this way, is this assuming that two things? One, that someone just randomly made a request, and or is it something that you're offering, that you're showing as part of your offerings, and this is the way to set it up?
Yeah, so it's a way to show that you're offering it. So this can be hidden, but we can also have it. Yeah. So again, as soon as you make it public here on the tool side, like when you look at your packages, if you want it to be hidden, you can make this hidden. You can go ahead and also just publish it like this one, and it'll automatically show up on your widget.
All right. So both are possible. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. The nice thing about this though, too, this feature is that it's just a request form. It's really just like, it's an inquiry form, right? So no one is officially booking anything or paying for anything.
Got it.
So a lot of providers will just put something up and then just like see what people want, and then depending on what requests you get, then you can start to like decide, to see where demand is and move from there.
Thank you.
Good question.
Great question. All right, I'm going to stop sharing again, and everyone can see me, right? Hello, welcome. Dylan, if you want to go ahead and mute yourself again, that would be great. I want to talk through some things before, we have some other questions coming in. Okay, Casey, let's see. It's a little trickier than I expected. Okay, Casey, let me see if I can find you. Casey, where are you? If you guys can, if you have a question too, Casey, I found you. I'm unmuting. Feel free to use your real hands too. It's a little tricky for me to find out everybody that's raising their hands. And then Elena, I promise we'll get to you next. So hi, Casey, how can we help?
Hi. Sorry, I came in late, so I'm not sure if you guys touched on this or not, but my biggest question that I've had since we've been moving all of our stuff online is having to be forced to choose a day of the week and a time. Because for us, I work for a theater company and we're in the middle of, trying to get all of our programs online now, but it's not necessarily like Wednesday at 10 a.m. So it's confusing at first when our customers come on because they're like, oh, it has to be, we have to basically write something in the description to say, ignore the dates that Sawyer's telling you, So I didn't know if you guys had talked about that at all.
We haven't talked about it, but it's a great question. I'm glad you're bringing it up. I would say for people that don't have a scheduled day and time, that private lessons that we just kind of walked through, and I'll include in the follow-up details, is maybe the best way for you. That way parents can request something, or you can use memberships as another way to kind of work around. Like if you're just sending them pre-recorded content or a private link, You can do it through a number of ways that don't require a scheduled day and time. Right now, we don't have the functionality in Sawyer Tools to do a non-date specific scheduled activity or event. It's something that we hear all the time, and it's something that we could in the future build. But today, in its current form, yeah, I think your best workaround is to do what you're doing, right? Which is telling parents like, hey, this isn't a real date and time. You can do it where you're giving kind of ultimate flexibility with a membership where you don't have to choose a date. Or you can set up these private event requests and then schedule it once you do have a specific day and time. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks so much. All right, Elena, I'm looking for you. If you can raise your hand, that would be great. Can't find you. Where are you? Well, Armina, give me 1 second. Elena, I found you. Okay. There you go. Hi.
Hello, everyone. I have three questions that I wanted to ask. First, since all parents are managing kids and their activities, like both of the parents should get emails and reminders. But unfortunately, what I found out that only the primary contact gets those notifications, and then I have to like when class starts quickly go and find and send already through my phone or email that other parent link to connect to the class. So is there any way that you can send these notifications to both emails that we have in the file?
Yeah, that's something that we hear a lot, and we certainly understand. Right now there's not a way for us to do that in Sawyer Tools. That's not to say that we won't, and I'll definitely, make sure to submit that to our end. The best thing to do is in your notes and order confirmation email is to put something specific to let them know, like whoever registered or the account that registered this for this class will get the email 30 minutes before. You can make it a little bit more specific. Unfortunately, other than manually sending it to additional people, it's always going to be the person that registers, and the email that is on that account is going to get the
Okay, I see. Then another thing I wanted to clarify. So that email reminder that like as of this week, parents get before the class. Will that parents who register after that email was sent receive that as well?
Yes, that's correct.
So even though if, for example, activity already started and that, okay, good, just to make sure.
That was something that we found pretty early on and is being worked on. So but I would say no later than tomorrow or Monday that everybody who registers for the event will get it. If it's right before the event starts, they just get the one that says starting soon with the link. And then anybody who registers after, it's going to respect that same behavior as well.
And another thing, this is just to like wishful thinking. Since we do all this online and there are a lot of materials that we send additionally to the parents, will there be an option to attach files to the so we can from the roster for this class, I know, prepare this, print out something, because as of now I have to copy everybody and go to a mailbox.
Yeah, so what I would recommend actually is put that in the notes for parents at the activity setting. So if you have class reminders or you want to put through a supply list for the class, you can do that right from that activity setup, and we'll include that in the instructions. You can also hyperlink, right? So if you want to create a list on Amazon of supplies, you can put in a link for them to look.
And what I meant, for example, we have for our STEM class, specific printout that kids need to use. We cannot add it to a supply list, or maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, you can put it in the activity notes and in the notes for parents at the activity setting, and you can put a link from your Dropbox. So if you have a printout, you can just save that to Google Drive or on another sharing site, and then paste that link. I'll include that in the step-by-step instructions after.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's in the notes for parents. That's the best place to kind of list. You can also put it in the email confirmation notes whatever kind of works best. So I see that Chef Arm is typing in, and I want you to raise your hand as well. So I'm gonna, Dylan, do you wanna chime in on something?
Yeah, I just want to make a quick clarification because that was a great question and a great answer. Just want to clarify that Notes for Parents is going to be shown to people who have not yet registered, whereas Notes for Confirmation email is only going to be shown to people who have registered. So if it is something that, like a worksheet that you save to Dropbox and you only want people to have access to that if they're registered, that should be in confirmation Notes for Confirmation email as opposed to Notes for Parents. So good question.
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right, I'm going to move on. So Chef Arm, where are you? Amina. There you are.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So I have the same comment about attaching files. The problem that I've actually run into when I've put it in the notes, like I need to send a recipe out, and I'd like to have it be directly from, like before we were doing online, it was fine. They'd come to class, they get a recipe, but now they want it in advance. Mm-hmm. And when I've given them the link to find it, they can't find it. They're still trying to ask for it. And when I've actually put it in the confirmation email, it's not formatted. So it comes in as like a big chunk of copy and not in like the returns and formatted the way that is easy to read.
Totally. So we're going to give some tips. We just released that feature that Dylan was talking about with HTML code. Now it'll show up as an actual just URL hyperlink and you can use like page breaks, bolded, italicized. So we'll send that in our step-by-step instructions of how to do it. It's a new feature that we just released on Sunday. So something that is now able to work for the parent notes and for the order confirmation notes.
Okay, that's good. I mean, down the line, being able to attach a file would be really key. So if that's something you guys can, if you're going to be
absolutely. And I hear you. And I think that that's like super, it gets requested very often. The biggest thing right now is that you can push through. So if you're saving like your attachments essentially in Google Drive, that's the easiest way to do printouts. It's an easy way for parents to like access everything. When you're like, I know, trust me, I hear you. Like,
I put it on Facebook and I put it at the top, I pin it and they still can't find it.
Yeah, listen, we're all navigating, and what I'll say about that, we're all navigating this kind of new world of being as tech savvy as possible, kind, be understanding.
Yes, of course.
Frustrating where you're like, I mean, how many other places can I put it? We'll give you some sort of best practices of what we've seen working. And if anybody here wants to kind of chat in and type in like how they're navigating this, how they've seen it work well, I would love that. I think you would love that.
I think I might actually just put a tab on my website which has all recipes so that that'd probably be the easiest way for them to find it.
I love that idea.
But I have a quick other question. So under the parties or the private events, is it necessary to put a price? Like, is there an option to not put any price, or do you have to put a minimum price?
You do not have to put a minimum price. You can
cool.
Starting at zero.
Great. And then my last question is, and I don't know if you already went over this because I did tune in a couple minutes late. The Banner Widget, have you shown how to use the Banner Widget yet? The new
really quickly, just for you, because you're one of my favorites. I mean, everybody all know. Okay. So going back here, we're going to look at the Banner Widget. So up here is where it appears. Can everyone see my screen? Where you set that up is going to be here under your business account. Okay. Once you click that, here, and I'm like moving our screen back and forth here. So right here, Chef Arm, display announcement. I can go ahead, it'll look like this normally. You just check off this box and then you can type in all of this information. As Dylan mentioned, if you want to bold, italicize, or underline, you're just going to use your, here, you're going to use your keyboard shortcuts. So there I did Control or Command, depending on what kind of computer. And then if you want to add dates where it changes or when it expires, you can do that. You can go ahead and change your announcement URL. So if you're promoting gift cards, if you're promoting your recipe banner, you can go ahead and say all recipes are included here.
I love it.
That is really flexible and dynamic, so feel free to use that. And then when you're done, you just click save, and it'll make those updates to your system.
Great.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much. All right. So couple things that I want to talk through before I answer more questions. And I promise, keep those questions coming into the chat. I want to be respectful sort of everyone's kind of time. And Mel, I promise I'll come back to you. I want to just show you how to use polls, because I think it's a really great feature and a way to keep people engaged with what you're kind of doing at your business. So when you're using polls, here I'm going to push through the first poll for everybody. So I'm going to launch this poll. So you should see something on your screen that's asking you, are you charging for your online classes? And then what price are you thinking through? And I'll kind of talk through why polls are really exciting and easy to set up in your Zoom account. You can also use polls in your Facebook Live or your Instagram account as well. And the really great thing with it is you can go ahead and engage with your audience in a different way. So if you're doing imagination story time like Elisa does, one pro tip I gave her was ask people what they want to see. If you're used to kids participating and like calling out silly ideas, give them some options to choose from here. So this is a really exciting way. I can see who's voting right now, and I'm going to give everybody another minute to type in if you haven't answered the poll. I'm going to go ahead and end our poll here. And then all I do is I share those results. You guys can see how many people. So 12 people, 63% are charging, 37% are not. And then these are the pricing ranges, right? So why I think polls are a really great kind of feature to look at for you guys is at the end of the day, it's just yet another way to engage your clients, whatever that means. If you teach adult classes, you can put some questions, or like high school students, if you want to push through a quiz of some sort to make sure that they're understanding the subject line of what you're talking about. If the matter is a little bit more complex and you want to kind of gauge like how well are you doing with this information, use these polls. We'll include some instructions on how to do that, whether you're using Instagram, Facebook Live, or other. I'm going to do some other polls here just to get you guys in the spirit of polling. So I'd love to know, as we're kind of planning through here, what software are you using? Are you using Zoom? Are you testing other things? How can we kind of support what makes the most sense? Right now, we're giving sort of ultimate flexibility for everybody to see what sticks, what's working. We've been loving using Zoom. I think it's been probably the easiest for us, and I've been really impressed with the quality of the video streams. I think like as you're thinking through like larger audiences, I know some of our performance-based providers and music providers are using Facebook and Instagram Live. So thank you so much. It looks like some additional votes are coming in. Get those in. I'm going to close the vote. Okay. So let's share these results. So you can see 83% are using Zoom, which is great. I would love to understand in the chat, like, if you're kind of looking through, things to look at, type in, let us know what's working really well. Share with one another if you are having some specific issues with any, or for those of you that typed in that you're using something other than the ones listed here, we'd love to know what you're using. All right, I'm going to ask just one more question because I think this is a fun one. So what is your favorite thing about hosting online classes, right? So I think for me specifically and for the team here, the more we're able to connect with all of you, I love getting to see everyone's bright smiling faces, get to see how people are thinking through their challenges to answer questions live and direct in this medium. So for me, I think a lot of these being, kind of the best way to, view and ask questions. These are some really fun ways. Has anybody seen this information and want to vote what your favorite thing is? If your answer is none, I totally get it. If you're feeling a little frustrated about online classes, I hope at the very end of the day, the most important thing is that you want to see students' familiar faces. That's been a really exciting thing for us. So I'll go ahead and end the poll. It looks like no one wanted to vote on that one, so no problem. You might be a little, what was that?
We didn't see it.
Oh, weird. Okay, let me try it again. Let me see. Relaunch. Can everyone see it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, amazing. I was like, no one wants to take this question. Great. Thanks, guys. So I'm going to, for those of you who are asking how to find polls, they should be following up on your screen. If you're asking like how to set this up for your business on Zoom, Facebook Live, or Instagram, I promise we're going to send step-by-step instructions on how to get them set up and launched. They're super easy. I think it's a really fun way to, again, engage with your audience in different ways. What I love here, and I'm seeing some of these responses right now, I'm going to share. Okay, so end the poll, share results. Can all see? Thumbs up? Great. So I love that everyone is really also excited to see their students and familiar faces. I heard from one of our providers that one of their instructors was so moved from seeing like kids that he hadn't seen in weeks, and getting to see them on the channel and be able to have that moment with them. He got really kind of emotional, and the person moderating the Zoom was like, okay, like let's cut to someone else now. But just know that families really, really, really appreciate and want to connect with you and feel so inspired by the work that you guys are doing. So please know that it is truly impactful. It's really helpful. All right, I'm going to take some additional questions. So Mel, thank you for raising your hand. I will try and find you on the screen. Coming soon. Okay. Mel.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hi. Yes, you're still on.
I was having a private with Ariana, I think, but I think I just need a quick clarification. When you were talking about the link, and this is probably very basic, but I'm missing something. When you were talking about the link in the notes section, I think, and adding a link there. Oh, it was to the banner announcement.
Yep.
And you can add a link and so on. So the link that you're adding, it would always have sawyertools.com. And
you can put it anywhere. We're putting that as a sample. You can put whatever link you need.
Well, so the link would be, though, because if you're going through Sawyer, the link would be to one of your classes or whatever. That it would be.
It could also be something else. So Dylan, I'm gonna.
Oh, right. Something that you just want to show them and connect with them. Okay. I got you.
Yeah, just to just add on to that. So like a great example is like if you have that recipe list or whatever, now all of our recipes are available on the New Camera website, whatever it is, right? Just something to remember there is always to use like the full actual web address, right? So HTTP, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Just something to keep in mind there.
Okay, got it. Thanks. It was a simple one.
Someone muted me. All right. Any other questions? I'm going to do a quick scroll. Yes, Bill, I got you.
I just wanted Dylan to show us exactly the 30-minute prior to. Could we just get a 2-second back into that? I wanted to just check the link part, the 30-minute prior to email. Where was that location at? Because I'm a little new to Sawyer too, navigating, and I just...
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Great question.
Right. We just went really fast through it.
Yeah. No, you know what? I didn't go fast through it. I didn't cover it. I didn't show that. Oh, okay. So that's going to be sent to a parent once they're signed up. So I don't have there's not like a place in Sawyer Tools where that lives. That just automatically gets sent out to parents. So maybe in some follow-up we can, oh, you do? Okay, great.
My thing is, will parents go in there to start to look for the Zoom link that's personalized? So like I have classroom teachers and then vendors creating their own links for me. Some of them have their own platforms. So we're kind of joining together. So I don't want a parent to get it and be like, oh, there's no Zoom link in here. There's no link to something because they missed the other email.
So just to clarify, so this is what it looks like. This is normally a big red button that says join activity. So you can see here the subject line is starting soon. It'll put your activity name is about to begin. Whatever that link is, it doesn't have to be Zoom, it could be Facebook Live, whatever you've set up, and we'll include this in the step-by-step instructions. This access information is whatever you type, and then this button here is a dynamic URL. So whatever that URL is, it could be Zoom, it could be GoToWebinar, it could be any other streaming service that you're using. The parent will only see a button here that says join activity. It will also appear on their Sawyer calendar where they'll be able to see that. And if they sync their calendar using our iCalendar or Google Calendar functionality, they'll also see it on the actual meeting as well. So on their parents' calendar, they'll be able to see exactly what this button says, and they'll be able to join from there as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just the thing was, where is that again? I just kind of missed.
Yeah, oh, sorry. Okay, so when
where do I tailor that myself to make it unique to each thing I'm doing?
Yep, so that's here under the schedules.
Okay.
So when you're building the class, so we set up one here for the cauldron cooking. And where you'll see this is where you edit it. Sorry, I'm going back and forth here. Okay, so this class link here, when you're scheduling activity,
right.
This and the access instructions, you have control over this. You can choose this every single scheduled activity. You can go back in and say, okay, today I'm not doing meeting 3, I'm going to do meeting 5. And that's my URL. And I'm copying and pasting that in. So this is
where the Zoom or the Facebook URL would go.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. All right.
Yep.
Thanks.
Oh, no problem. All right. Let me stop sharing again. Great. All right. I know somebody else raised their hand. Oh, perfect. Okay. Great. Hi.
Hi, I'm not really Lakes. I'm Meg.
Hi, Meg.
Change that. I'm new to this online class thing. I'm wondering, we were talking about parents are getting this email. It's the primary person who signed up. Can we ask them to make sure that's updated? Can they go in there and change it to the email that they want to use? If we're going to start this online classes, I want to make sure everybody's up to date on the email they prefer.
Yeah, great question. Let me jump in here. Yeah. So I think the best possible thing you could do for this, and that's exactly the solution, is just to make it really clear that they should be signing up with the email at which they want to receive all the emails about it, right? That's the best thing you can do. So maybe that's something that you put in your banner now in the widget. Maybe that's something you put on your website. But let's say someone already has an account. They're already just like saying signed in, and you want to just guide them to be able to make sure that they can update their own email addresses. What you have to do is go to your widget on your website, click the top right, the drop down at the top right, go to manage account, and then they'll be brought to their parent portal where they can update their email address if they need to. And that's their new login info. That's where they'll receive all the messages. And then whenever you send a message or one of those auto-generated messages, that will go to whatever email address they have on file. It's a great question.
Okay, so one other little question to go on top of that, because we just talked about having the parents sync the Sawyer calendar with their calendar. So, what I'm wondering is if you could help guide us, because I have a lot of parents that aren't necessarily going to their Sawyer portal. It's kind of a way that we can teach them, maybe send out, some instructions for them of how to be able, how they can use Sawyer, more often and know how to do that.
Absolutely. And now in all of the order confirmation emails, parents will see it in the sync to calendar at the checkout screen, like after they complete their purchase, and they get it in their email confirmation. So I think that it's set up in the tools to be able to do that. But I think in your notes to parents, in your communication with parents, just putting a friendly reminder to them to let them know that that's an option for them. It's something new that we recently released and made a little bit more visible to parents. So hopefully we'll get more parents using it, especially with these online classes.
Thank you. Thank you guys for all you're doing for us.
Thank you for being one of our Sawyer providers and partners. We really love getting to work with all of you. And I know that there are a ton of questions. So just know that we're here. I'm so glad Jackie, Georgia, her daughter, loves my fish background. So yay. Jackie, I want you to create one for me specifically. We have so many creative people on this call. Like, I'm waiting for my custom Zoom backgrounds from all of our Sawyer providers. Okay, so I know there was a question from Jump and Jam, so I want to get to them because they had a question. Same with Elizabeth. I promise I am seeing all of these and I want to be able to support you. I don't know if Jump and Jam's still here. If you are, found you. Go ahead. Hi.
Hi, so I asked a question, I sent an email the other day. So we have our classes, oh, sorry, that's my phone. So we have classes and we have drop-ins.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way, because I know you set it up by like Monday classes, is there a way to send a separate Zoom link for each week? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
If it's all Monday classes, if somebody does a drop-in for the first Monday, then they'll have the link for all the other classes.
Yeah. Dylan, do you want to take this?
Yeah, great question. This comes up all the time, and I breezed through it too quickly, so thanks for slowing me down again. Okay, so the email, there are two ways to do it. One is by using those automatic reminder emails, and I know you're thinking, like, if I just put that link in the URL, the class link, it's going to be the same every time, right? It is, but you can change that. So when the email is scheduled to go out, so let's say your class is Monday at 3:30, Monday at 2:30, whatever that link says, Monday at 2:30 is what's going to send. So as long as you go in there every Monday before 2:30 and update that link, it's going to send the new up-to-date one, right? And actually, you're probably better off doing it earlier Monday morning or Sunday night because the join button is going to be available to parents, I think, even sooner than that 30 minutes. So, but yes, so in short, that's one way to do it. You can update the link and it will send out whatever it is at that time. The other thing to do is you could just do it manually. You could go to the roster and send out the link just to that specific roster if you want, or you can rely on the automated version to do it for you. Good question.
Thank you.
Great question. All right, Elizabeth, trying to find you because you are next in my question queue. Elizabeth, where are you? She might have left. Elizabeth, if I miss you, please raise your hand again and I will find you. Elisa, I'm going to unmute you because you have a question as well.
Good timing. Evelyn's yelling in the monitor. She made a poop.
Hi, Evelyn.
Sorry, I keep going. This might have been answered because I keep going in and out because it's supposed to be nap time. But I was just wondering if you guys had a recommendation for kind of a place to keep all of our content, especially we're trying to roll out a membership program next week where we'll have basically a bunch of pre-recorded and possibly live content on demand. Mm-hmm. I know there's Google Classroom, which I've been playing around with. Obviously, you could do like a YouTube private or Vimeo. Is there anything else you've heard people have been using or finding helpful so that we can direct people and say, hey, you get access to this content. Here it is.
For sure. Yeah, I would say, and Elizabeth, I found you. Don't worry. I am like ready to make you my next participant. So stay tuned. Yes. So I have heard good things about, depending on if you want to do private access, Vimeo allows you to do private, password protected. YouTube has that functionality as well. It's not as great. I would say if you want to like guard it and make it a little bit harder for people to download it and access it kind of willy-nilly, then I would go with Vimeo or Dropbox. Dropbox is another way to do it in that you can control who has download access and who has permissions to view specific folders. So that's a really great way. It's low cost. It's very easy to use. And depending on the file sizes, if it's mostly videos, which I know you guys are, Elisa, I would probably go Vimeo just because you have a little bit more control and functionality. I think it's a little bit pricier depending on, again, the file size, but knowing that this is kind of a long-term play for at least right now, I'd explore either Dropbox or Vimeo depending on what works best for you guys.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, no problem. All right, Elizabeth, taking it over to you. Hi.
Hi, Dana.
Hello.
Okay, so good. How are you? I have a few things. So first of all, it's sort of a question. I see when I go on Sawyer, and it might just be the specific view I have, it's featuring online, which is great. Is everything from before not visible? And the reason I'm kind of asking that is we have semester programs and we have almost everything online with Zoom now. And we're not advertising those classes. We are getting one or two people maybe add in specific classes, but it's sort of like, I can't make those online classes. Those are in progress classes. So I guess that's my first question is it, do people see, are those prominent when people go online, that the classes that you already have that are not online? That's my first question.
Dylan?
Yeah, let me jump in here. The easiest way to just like hide something from Marketplace or from your widget is the hide button in schedule. So if there's anything that you're like, I don't really want to like cancel this or unpublish it, it needs to just continue to exist, I just don't want any new signups, you can always just hide those schedules from within Sawyer Tools. Is that kind of what you're getting at? Does that answer your question?
And
yeah, it does.
Yeah, Elizabeth, let us know what business you're from. We can take a look too to help you.
Okay, thanks. And then the other thing is just some feedback. So I really did love the ease of use to get on the Zoom today. Just a few things that I think to know. One is that, yes, we do work with a lot of different vendors, and typically they make their own Zooms. And I'm talking about a very large program. But the other thing to note about this is that we've just been using, the download feature and then I have like a huge spreadsheet with all these different classes and the email addresses where I get the 2 emails and for example, 2 parents. And then I do a regular email and I do a Google Calendar hold and all this stuff. So, but the thing to note is that with students, a lot of the students now are using their own email addresses or are being given their own email addresses. And what that means is that their parents are trying to put more of all this on their child's email address to help manage calendars and so forth. So as much as I think this is really great, I see myself still relying on sending emails and calendar holds, because I may send a calendar hold to, up to 4 email addresses for one family if that's what's working for them. So I just wanted to say, just sort of as a feedback tool, that's what seems to be working for us right now.
Online for everybody. I think the more you can communicate, like right now we're really in a time where we're communicating, which is hard. It's hard because parents are getting sort of everywhere, but just be as communicative as possible with your families and students. And hopefully this will become a little bit more common for them as they kind of are navigating this new learning. So thank you so much. I'm going to move on to Stephanie. So Stephanie, go ahead. You're unmuted.
Yes, hello. I have a quick question, regarding, I guess it's more marketing and the options of. I think it's still kind of new, and I see a lot of you have been studying. Some are new. I'm fairly new, and it's very hard to decide on the price, but also on the setting of the price as well. So I wonder, if there's an option. If there's an option to actually the wording free or the features of being free is a little bit complicated. And I see that in order to offer a series of classes as we want to be, we don't want to just do a tryout. We want to feature our real program, in the same time to assess properly what people can really pay versus before crisis and now. And I wonder if there's something that could be adjusted, or because I know the add-on as we suggested donation is a little tricky and doesn't give a lot of freedom for the setup. So I wonder if that's something that I've been going around this and not really finding very satisfying at the moment.
Yeah, so clarify the question, you're trying to test different pricing. So you can always adjust the price of your classes. So if today you want to try a $20 class of drop-ins, right? $20 for every drop-in, your semester is $400, and maybe you offer like some installment options as well. You can go in at any point after the first round of people register and adjust, right? You never typically want to adjust down because you want to start with whatever your kind of lowest base pricing is going to be, and then gradually increase as you see where there's more price elasticity for your market. Right now, there's really no way to say like free with suggested donation, right? There's no like pay what you can functionality or anything like that, but our add-on feature has been working for a lot of our providers who kind of want to adjust and see what works best. Go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, no, just to tack on what you're saying. So everything you're saying is great. And it's a good question because just for anyone that wasn't part of the last webinar who hasn't messed around with this, one way to sort of let people pay what they want is to set a base price, either free or cheap, and then give like sort of a multiple choice optional add-on for those who can and want to pay a little bit more. So that's one way to do it, is to set a low price and let people pay more if they can. The other way to do it is sort of the reverse, is to set the regular price and then create some coupon codes that you can just list on your site and say, hey, this is the price, but if you can't afford it, you can pay this much, just enter this coupon code and you get a discount, right? So there's one way to do it is to start low and let people add on. The other way to do it is to start at your regular price or even high and then let people do deductions that way. So there's a couple different ways to approach it right now, even though there's not like a just type in whatever you want and pay that feature.
Thank you. And the coupon, you're saying like the coupons would be listed like under the price, or like that's something that you include into your confirmation, like on your notes, or like where would you add like the coupon?
Yeah, great question. That could even be something that you put in that widget banner, right? If you want to just say like, hey, we're doing right now like flexible price. If you want 50% or 100% off, enter this coupon code at checkout, right? Enter this promo code. Or maybe it's something you put on your website, or maybe it's something you put directly in the activity description, or maybe you put it in all three places, you know what I mean? However you're going to most effectively communicate to your customers. And then that gives them the choice as to whether to use that particular coupon code or not.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Great. All right. So we're wrapping up, and I want to be mindful of time. I promise that we will go through as many of the kind of step-by-step things that we covered in our call today. One other like last kind of pro tip about Zoom, you'll notice that I've been pinning and unpinning people's videos, right? Why I love this. If you teach a class on Zoom with young children, one of the easiest ways to kind of blow their mind is to put them on the Jumbotron. So if all of a sudden, hey, Jackie, you're on the Jumbotron, wave to everyone and say hello, right? So it's a really cute way as you're like teaching a class. If somebody is moderating your Zoom, so let's say I'm the person that's like playing my guitar, I'm singing, but Dylan's helping me to moderate my chat. We can then pin different people's videos. And hi, Elisa, I see you're performing at home. Thanks so much. Great job. I love seeing those dancing fingers. So this is a really nice way. Like if I want to be like, Doc, where are you calling in from today? I see you're in a kitchen. Like this is a really great way to create different movements of what's on the screen. So we can see Doc is now the star of the screen. If I want to jump over to Ara, hello, Miss Ara. It's so nice to see you today. Thank you so much for joining us. The really great thing about pinning video, it's creating a sense of changing the viewer at home and what they're seeing. So as you guys were asking questions, one of the things that I make sure to do is to automatically then transfer to somebody. So Stephanie, you are our last question. I'm featuring you on screen now. Hello. So just so you know, there are some really great ways to create engagement, to create this sense of magic. At-home computer magic is really what it comes out to be. So if you see me in the speaker view, but if I'm changing like who I want to pin, like right now, do you guys see everybody in gallery mode?
Yeah.
Gallery mode?
Yeah.
Now you see it? No? Weird. You normally should be able to change it. How about now? Gallery? No, it's just me on screen forever. That's frustrating. How about now? Do you see Elisa? Ha ha! I figured it out. Okay, so what you're gonna do is now, can you see gallery view for everybody or no? Okay, that's fine. So I can spotlight video. So Rebecca, you are now spotlighted. Hello, can you see yourself? Maybe not. Dylan, you are now my spotlight video. Can everyone see Dylan? Great. So this is what I was trying to do before. So like if I want to make, so when you click the 3 dots next to a person's name, you can make them the spotlight video. So now, right now I have Amanda. Hello, Amanda. You are now my spotlight video. So just know if you're singing like a welcome song, which like I love seeing, if you're singing to a specific person, depending on the size of your class. So if I was like, hello, Elisa, I'm going to sing hello to you and make this our special moment together where you're now featured. You get a little silly. This is what's really great about Zoom, and you can have fun with it. So that is my last kind of tools tip when it comes to Zoom. The other features, if you see down at the bottom, there's a little reaction button where you should see the little like smiley faces where you could do thumbs up. You can do a clap. You might be able to do something else. Oh, amazing. Dana, thank you. From one Dana to another. Dana gave me a pro tip that gallery mode only works if the participant has selected that. So play around, know that there are some really great Zoom Help Center articles. They do a really good job about it. I'm going to close us off with one final poll. Hear me? Okay, so can everyone see this poll? Give me a thumbs up. Great. What's your favorite online classes feature that we just recently released? Get your votes in. Let us know. We want to hear from you. Awesome. The votes are coming in hot. I like it. This is interesting. Okay. Couple more, and don't worry if you love all of them. Thank you, Jumpin' Jams. We love them as well. We're very excited about them. I will say, the team and I are continuing to work on things. We're trying to be as quick and efficient with all of these new features to make this as easy for you and for your parents. So thank you for all being patient with us, for sharing all of your feedback. We take that very seriously. We're also going to be sharing this survey to everybody afterwards. So you don't worry if you didn't get a chance to vote live here on our webinar. I'm going to end the poll and share the results. This is so great. So we love that you're so excited about how easy we've made the ability to create online classes. This is something that we're going to continue to improve. So let us know what you're thinking. Let us know how you guys are running online classes. And this is not going to be the last one. We'll continue to do, I think, bi-weekly, maybe not weekly. I mean, I would love to talk to you guys on a regular basis, but I also want to be respectful of everyone's time. And just know that you can always chat us at support@sawyertools.com. The accounts team, Dylan is nodding. They are standing by. They are here to help. They are rock stars. I will include in the recap email that we send my office hours. I'm going to continue to do them through this time. So if you feel like you need a little one-on-one time with me, you want to go through specifically what is working for you, you want to kind of bounce some ideas off of with somebody, I'm here for that. So schedule a time with us. But otherwise, have a wonderful rest of the day and the week. Be kind to one another. Please know that the work that you are doing is not in vain. People are showing up. People are excited. People want to support you. And so just know how you can continue to support small businesses, local community, work with one another, collaborate. Now is not a time for competition. This is really a time for community and sharing and collaboration. So I'm so excited to see all of the wonderful shout outs that I see on social media, sharing one another's events and support. So just know that that's like really wonderful. The last thing, I want to give a shout out to Discovery Center. They may or may not be on today, but one of the things that they have been doing is running private camps for families that are workers at hospitals. So they've been running their own private organized groups and running these Zoom programs for them, specifically for people that are on the front lines as a way to just give back and a way to support their community. So just know that there are really amazing. If you're doing something, share it with us. Tag us on social media at Hello Sawyer. And we'll be sure to promote and share anything you have going on. So we are here as a channel to help you. And if anybody has any other questions, I'll stay on for just a couple more minutes. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you for tuning in, as always, to our Sawyer Social Hour. Thanks, guys.